It's like you
Hey,
and I got the memo for we have like a dress code
the
on.
blacks.
We got the black t-shirt.
This was my uniform for a hot minute. I went all in on just buying the same black shirt for about a year straight.
I do the same thing. Like my favorite color,
It's
the only thing I wear is black.
right.
Like my actually probably dark. I wear dark because I have some dark suits and dark shirts, dark blue, black. It's just easy.
Dark's a good suit color for sure. Although
Yeah,
I think I had a couple lighter colored suits, but
yeah.
navy blue is my suit color for sure.
So I just got back from. Actually, I didn't get back from New Jersey. I flew from New Jersey. I'm now in Utah. I stopped off to visit my dad, and then I'm going to go back home on Thanksgiving. So I just came from big learning and development meeting at our headquarters in New Jersey. So, it's interesting. I'm interviewing for a person to come on to my team, and
Hmm.
I'm very, very specific on the criteria. I treat looking for a job much like a funnel. Actually, it is a
Yeah,
funnel. It's an employment funnel,
100%.
and it's all meant out to weed out people who don't qualify.
Yeah,
No different than a product, no different than a service. This is who it's for. This is actually I didn't create. I have to fit within the corporate ecosystem. So I didn't
right.
say, hey, this is who it's for and who this is not for, but I was pretty clear on who it's for. And who it's for is somebody who has been in real estate, in the real estate industry, who succeeded as an agent, leader, operator, somebody who has someone with a similar background, somebody who started out as an
Yeah,
agent, maybe opened a company, ran a company, knows what it's like to have to pay payroll, knows what it's like to have to, I don't know, eat what you kill. And
yeah.
if you survived as a real estate agent full time and you fed yourself and you were able to get through, okay.
That's a
And then you
it's a
open a
proving
company. That's a
ground.
proving ground.
Yeah.
But man, I got to tell you, the job market right now, it's prime for people who actually have positions. But I don't think. I think there's a like me. I wouldn't spend my time applying for a job that my background and my experience and my skill set fit what is on there. Like I being on the other side of the coin,
Yeah.
I don't even look at anyone that doesn't. And I get emails and I get references and I get other leaders calling me promoting these other people, and I'm just like, no one's clearly read the job description.
Right.
And I think that's important for what you and I talk about because real estate agent and real estate and mortgage people, they're really good at not building out what they're looking, any type of lead generation. They're not building out a really good example or good explanation of what their services provide, who's the best candidate for it, how it's going to help that person. It's just like, hey, you want to get a loan? Call me. Hey, you want to sell a
Want to
house?
buy or sell your
Call
home?
me. Yeah.
I'm your guy.
I
Or
answer
gal.
my
Yeah.
phone.
Right.
That's a big thing. When you ask real estate professionals, a lot of them, what is it what differentiates you? Well, I'm a hard
Yeah.
worker. Okay, next. You think you're going to find someone that says I'm not a hard worker, that I'm lazy?
Right.
I answer my
Yeah.
phone. I'm a negotiator.
One of one of our like client intake things for the loan officers is like outside of good rates and good service, what value do you provide to the marketplace? And
Ooh,
it's
yeah.
like,
So you took the most common, because if you wouldn't have
yeah,
put those in there, they would
yeah,
have added those, and then you'd have to spend time getting through those.
yeah. Well, I do good service. You're like, well, yeah, that's expected. Like
It's given.
you like, if you're not coming to the table with I mean, by and large, everybody's got you're selling money. It's a commodity. Um, you're expected to provide good service. Okay, great. What else? What else do you have? And I 80% of the people will respond like, well, I'm really good, I provide really good service, top-notch service. You're like, yeah, no, I understand that. That's expected. That's the baseline.
Yeah.
So
But even that, what does that mean?
right.
Like, tell me how it is that you provide really great service, because that seems to me as a very general term.
Yeah. They I've seen some really, really good examples of documented processes where people are actually able to communicate that in a tangible format, where it's like, here's our touch point, here's what we're doing at this stage, here's what we're doing on this timeline, these are what the expectations are. I'm like, okay, clearly you have a documented process that um exemplifies what you mean by that, which is, I mean, that's going to be key for most folks that are growing, but vast majority of people, as just winging it. I'm responsive. I'll answer on the weekends. I'll pick up my phone. That's bullshit. I call bullshit on that. You'll
Yeah.
you'll pick it up maybe 20% of the time. Um,
If it's an
there's
unidentified
few.
number, I can guarantee you that I don't pick it up 100% of the time.
Right. I mean, I can't tell you how many times with the Apple's like spam filter, just I mean, everything just goes straight to spam. I'm like, "Oh, okay, well that helps me out quite a bit. If you're not contacting my phone. Love what you said about the two funnel or the recruiting funnel and like lead funnel. It's um absolutely front end acquisition, back end team acquisition, two funnels running. If you're growing that, I should say.
Yeah. Do you remember what I did when I was looking for some appointment setters from the Philippines?
Yeah,
You remember how I did that? I set up I did a job post. That job post took them to an online application form, but part of that application form is that they had to read a script, because the big
right.
thing with that application is that if you have a really thick accent, you can't be an appointment setter. It has nothing
Yeah,
to do with you not being able to, communicate. It has everything to do with you not being able to communicate.
yeah.
So
Can
it's fine that
people
you
hear you and understand you?
look. I get it. You can speak English.
Yeah,
Cool. It's not about that. It's can you speak it to a level to whereas you can be persuasive. Because if you have a
yeah,
broken if you have a broken English, if you have any if English or whatever language is not your native tongue, and you can just get by, you're not going to be able to sell anything. You're not going to be able to convince anything. If
to a
all you can do
degree, I
is
will. I will come back on that as like I find that there's an effective sweet spot for those folks front end, like just sales development. Like they can get through to like first touch, schedule a call, or first touch, verify general interest.
you think,
And they could do that well enough because if they have the same script, same objection, same um, after I tend to try to take a little bit longer of a time horizon on those folks. It's like, hey, if you can nail down this, if you can nail down these like 3, 4 objections, you can be effective. And work on your enunciation and certain things. Obviously, there's a certain you know cap that those folks will go to, um, but at the same time, like those aren't folks that you would necessarily you're not ever really necessarily looking for them to grow past a certain point internally anyway.
so my thought process about that in 2025 thinking about how that used to be. And I agree with you 100% that you should always take the most common objections and actually that person
Yeah.
can make sure that they're good at rebuttaling that. But here's where I'm at, and this is what I did as an operator when I operated a real estate company, is I created my my sizzle video. Not that wouldn't be a good explanation. So when I had those when I was operating the company, my big thing was it wasn't so much as me trying to reach them. It was I wanted to make sure that they knew that I existed, and that's where my note card program came up.
Yeah.
I was writing anyone who closed a transaction, listed a property, or put it something under contract, that an agent that lived within 5 miles of my office. Number
Yeah.
one, I think they're poaching. Number two, they should be at my office. So I would write them a letter, not a letter, but a note card, and just say, hey, congratulations, tough market. I saw that you put this under contract. I saw you brought this to market. Great job. I'm going to let my staff know. That's all I did. And then I'd send it to
Yeah.
them with a business card in there. And because I knew from consumer behavior, they're going to creep it. So the video that I made sure, so you ever watch Naked and Afraid or one of those survival movies?
No.
You're familiar with trapping animals, a
Yeah. Yeah.
snare? Okay, so what they do is like a rabbit, they find these rabbit tracks and they find this path that rabbits go and they set a snare on it. And so
Yeah.
when the rabbit goes, it's the snare. That's really what I'm looking at the way that we set up funnels for. So
Yeah.
going back into the questions, I believe that if you're getting the same questions, I should say, same questions every single time, that should not be something that you should wait to answer verbally. That should be something in the pre-context in a
Yeah.
video. And I, Dan Kennedy, he said this. So this isn't a me thing. He said that our job before you go on to an appointment, you need to have them at a 9 out of 10. Like it's more likely a signing ceremony, which means all of the common questions, all of the common
Right.
objections, everything, and then all of those should be answered. And Google says that 88% of all consumers, they've already made their decision on what they're going to buy and who they're going to work with based on their online research. So when you tie all that stuff together, like, God, I'm really sorry to say this, but technology is like really eliminating these low entry level jobs. But they're doing it in engineers, they're doing it with architects, they're doing it with programmers, doing it with lawyers. They're going to have to figure out a way how to survive in these entry level positions. They're going to have to upskill, man.
Right. The uh, I love what you're saying on the the um archetyping your your funnel and handling your objections. We've been testing just like simple survey, so post webinar, um so sales funnel for acquisition, webinar, application. On the application, there's some just basic questions, and then based off of those questions, sending them over specific videos and things based off of the way they answered certain things. So it's like, here's the most common objections, bottlenecks, blah 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 for this type of folk. Um, so and that's seems to be seems to be proving out quite well. But yeah, that's effort to get to that 9 out of 10 before the actual sales call.
Yeah, you know, and I'm glad you brought this up because one of the things that I'm going to probably create a video on, is the difference between an objection, a question, and a condition. Because what I find is that when you get people who haven't spent a career in real estate or not just in real estate but in sales, everything that you say something, and if the consumer says something different, it's automatically classified as an objection. It's like you want me to maybe refinance my house, and I'm like, well, what kind of points do you charge, and what rate can you get me, and what kind of points do you charge? That's not an objection. That's a bona fide question for me to determine what value you provide. Because I
Right.
know that, look, the rate's going to be relatively the same, the points are going to be relatively the same, but the two variables to understanding value, you need to know what is it that you're going to get and what is it going to cost you. So until a consumer has those two variables, I mean, they can't determine value.
Yeah.
So, but real estate agents, salespeople, well as well, what do you charge? What's your monthly fee? How many points do you charge? What kind of commission do you charge? It's automatically classified as an objection,
Yeah.
you know? So I'm gonna break that down. And
We it's funny you bring that up. We anytime the very first question that somebody asks is what's the cost, what's the fee? Instant disqualification. You will not even get an opportunity to go further.
you do that?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like you don't even know, like you said, there's two components to being able to make a decision on something. What you get and what you pay.
Yes.
Right.
Well,
So
so no, go ahead.
yeah, so it's it's like, hey, if you're like, well, the cost for what? Like, what are you
What do
looking
you
to
what do you
get? Like,
provide?
I
Yeah.
have I have no idea what you're even looking for, or so I generally the training, not 9 times out of 10 it's just like in Austin Powers, like 1 bazillion jillion dollars and
So
moving
you're
on.
saying that if somebody shows up and if they ask you what does it cost, you're no longer interested in speaking with them.
If anytime during the conversation before they have gone over through a sales process, like
Okay, before
attended
they
a
know.
webinar,
Okay,
before
got it.
before they see anything, if there's like, hey, how much is, you're like, well, I don't know, what are you looking for? I mean, there's uh, there's ways of navigating those conversations, but I've done enough data on stuff that it's proven 100% waste of time.
So so you're saying that before they know anything whatsoever, the first thing in their mind is what does it cost?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so now I'm
What it
following you.
what does it cost? Yeah. So what does it cost? Um, if and when they do come on board, they end up being horrible clients.
Well, looking at it from a real estate data perspective, there's 4% of sellers, the number one thing they're looking for in an agent is based on cost. The most important factor in looking for an agent for 4% of sellers is cost. Now, that 4% doesn't get broken down. There are some people, most of them, I speculate, are looking for the lowest cost. There are some people who are looking for the highest cost. I have some friends that the only thing they do is they judge everything just by how much, is it the most? They think because it's the
Right.
most, there's that pricing psychology. And you got to witness me do this as I fine tuned the whole recruiting and onboarding process in every different level I was at in real estate.
Yeah.
Before I went back into fully learning and development, the last time I was operating, a company, I was recruiting 120 agents a year, and I kept 60. That has nothing to do with it because that was a training side. But the other side of that is um, I had a 90% sign ratio when they came into the office. And I believe the reason why I did that is I wanted them to be the most knowledgeable consumer about what I do before I meet with
Mm-hmm.
them.
Right.
So before that, now that includes, this is what we do, this is how we do it, this is how much it costs, this is our comp plan, it's non-negotiable, this is our office fee, this is all of our stuff.
Yeah.
Because what I found before I did that, and I had, been doing it for several years before that, I would spend 2 hours in a conference room showing them the office, talking at them, selling them, and it would ultimately most always lead to I need to think about it. Whereas when I went to the video, which is still up, I think you've seen it, the value prop where I was value stacking video,
Yeah.
and then it went into the how much does it cost. That number one, I made that video required before I would meet with anyone in person. And so a lot of meetings got canceled. I had a high cancellation ratio. But the
Yeah.
people that showed up in person, they just signed up. And then what I found with that is that after about 6 months, um, people were just it was just magnetically attracting people. They were just they were just coming in. And the reason why is because I didn't want to sell them. I'm like, this
Yeah.
is what we do. This is what
Right.
we provide. This is how we're different. This is how it costs. If you're looking
Right.
for something cheaper, go over there, but you're not getting this. If you want to get this and you don't want to pay this, go to a third party, but you're going to be paying out of pocket whether you close
Right.
something or not. So it's like you do you.
Right. People love to buy and they hate to be sold. So when you had your folks coming in, they were buyers, rather than getting
Yes, there
pitched.
were they were qualified buyers.
Yeah.
But the other thing too with the pricing psychology too is that what you're selling a Ferrari. So is it so bad that someone who has a budget of a Honda is asking you how much is this going to cost, knowing that they can only afford a Honda? I
Right.
mean, there's there's a there's a psychology to that too, and it used to be that we had to spend time back where you and I met. We had to spend time back in the day where we were doing mortgage assistance, like the way that you were operating your big operation. You did it in a very efficient way based on the technology at the time. Could
Right.
you imagine what you could do now? Like it would you would just have a cash register ringing all the time because just people would just be rolling through the funnel.
Yeah, that would be it, it the it that still hurts me today, the amount of just insane waste that took place at that time because it was not. I mean, there was stuff, but it was like, I mean, gosh, it was we were using paper sheets to take inbound phone call leads on, like,
I mean that was what
wild.
2008, 2009 probably, 2009,
Yeah.
2010. So,
Um
I mean, we it could have been done.
oh yeah, 100%. Like
A lot of
I
duct
had
tape.
we had
Yeah.
CRMs and systems and tracking stuff, but at the same time, it was like, you know, uh, it was we were so busy that like couldn't keep up with like phone calls and stuff to the point where it was like, okay, trying to micromanage folks that it was just like, but yeah, interesting times
So
for sure.
but here's the interesting thing part with that. So when I was in New Jersey, I was talking to some colleagues, and the topic of another colleague having a black belt came up, and they of course I have a black belt, and it's in Kempo, and they there were some younger ones there, and they were like, what's the best art? And I didn't say Kempo. I didn't say what I did. Now at the time, it was. But now, if I were to go back and do it all over again, I would actually I would just go into Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and I'd go into Muay Thai. That's all I would do.
Yeah.
But um, but that's 30 years of
Right.
Kempo,
Evolution.
an all encompassing self defense sport, or not sport system, evolving over time. So you take what you did back then. We also had to take into consideration the type of salespeople that we had. We had to make sure that it was easy for them to understand and very simple to use.
For
But
sure.
but now, like Brazilian Jiu Jitsu wasn't even like a thing 30 years ago, and now like that's just the evolution. So you put that into
The
business, and you
default.
took in, like, did we have landing pages? Yes, we did. Did we have YouTube? Yes, we did. But you know what? They're not the same things. They're
No.
called the same things now, but they're not the same things. There's so much that the format that you use, the lighting that you use, like the special, and now we have artificial intelligence, dude.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things that I just want to do that art. Actually, there's so many things I want to do that artificial intelligence is making me do it 10 times, 100 times faster.
Seriously.
Have you checked out Grok 4.1 yet?
I did. I checked that out. I checked out Gemini 3 the other
Dude,
day, and I'm uh I have a new kind of um well, I have like my daily disciplines type stuff, but I'm like, okay, I'm carving out dedicated time every day to make sure that I'm in uh touching on at least one environment to have a broader scope of usage. So um
hey, that's
really
awesome
impressed.
thing that's came up. So if you go, I've done a lot of cleaning up on my digital profile. So if
Hmm.
you Google Brett Matsura, it's very clean. My LinkedIn's very clean. My YouTube's very clean. It's getting cleaner, dude. We have a lot of videos. Like, I haven't realized how many of these that we have done, but I've gone in and because I'm using Descript and I'm using AI and everything, I'm
Yeah.
turning our conversations into blog content and I'm putting it. So I'm really working on my SEO. I think SEO is going to come back around full circle because AI, it's the SEO that AI is using to grab the
Yeah.
content and information. So um, that's a whole what is old again is new again
Right.
kind of reference. But
Yeah.
we have a lot of videos. We have a lot of great content. I was looking at just starting to add more content, and I just looked at the treasure trove of stuff that on my YouTube that I've only had as Luke and Brett in the description. I haven't optimized. I didn't do keywords. I didn't do anything, so it didn't get reached out.
Right.
And so I'm going through that and taking our content and pushing that through. But um, and I don't know where I was going with that. I was going something to do with the internet, and because that's what we talk about.
I think we touched on this a while ago, and it was I think it was probably around like Gemini or VEO3, like where YouTube was like they were starting to incorporate some more of their AI editing directly into it, or at least that's where my mind went from the treasure trove of YouTube videos. Um, yeah,
We have it
it's
documented because we've been doing it for this long. Is that when Chat GPT one came out? I'm going to go back. So I'm starting from our newest and starting to walk back on it
yeah,
as I go forward, which is weird because I'm not doing any backdating on the blog. I'm going forward on it, but there's a lot of what I'm doing is I'm taking our videos, I'm transcribing it, I'm finding a thread in there, and then I'm just hyper focusing on that, and there's my content. But
yeah,
we have a lot of good things that we're talking about that
for sure.
that we need to use and capitalize. Like, this is not going live on mine right now. This is going live on yours right now, but not on mine. I'm going to take this. I'm going to throw it into Descript, and then I'm going to find out the thread of the content, and then I'm going to create a blog and send it out. And I'm going to get 2 weeks. I'm going to get a 2 week buffer on that, and then cut that. And guess who's teaching me all this? AI. I got Grok teaching me this. I got
Yeah,
Grok and Chat GPT and Gemini. They're all giving me. They're my consultants.
you should just go live on your YouTube anyway, and I mean, do what you want, but like just to have it there. And you can always go back and like repurpose, take that and throw it in and reuse it.
What do
It's
you
not
mean?
going to hurt anything. Well, like you just go live, like you can go live on your channel, and then whatever your process was that you were planning on doing, still do that.
But then you'd have a double video. So are you saying go live and have that live and then turn it off when you
No, just
throw
let
up
it
a cleanup?
be.
Just let it be. Just throw the
Take this
thumbnail.
take
Just
the
It's
same
a good
thing, put
idea.
a slap a thumbnail on it,
All right,
edit
yeah,
it up,
that's a good
do whatever
idea.
you wanna do, spruce it up, post it again. Post it again as a regular one and not a live.
I gotta ask my consultants on seeing what that would do with the
Yeah,
algorithm, if
I
it
mean,
helps or hurts it.
it's just I mean, that's just a guess. I mean, it's not uh, generally not going to be penalized for more content.
Yeah, yeah. I may just do that. I was doing that initially, and I consciously changed it for a reason. I just can't remember what the reason was.
Probably wanted to edit something and then got busy,
Yeah. But
right?
oh, are you using the social media scheduler in Go High Level?
Yes, more and more so.
Dude, that thing
So
is
right,
money.
yeah, it's I definitely slept on that quite a bit. We did a lot for our clients, but we are starting to do more of the like stories feature for our users, more direct call to action type stuff for stories, because it's, I mean, you can just have that stuff scheduled out indefinitely almost.
Yeah,
um
yeah.
and yeah, it's so I got a new girl plugged in there on mine who's using it more, so
You got a VA doing it?
yeah.
Full time VA doing just that for you?
Full time, not full time, it's part time. I want to say 4 or 6 hours a day,
And are
taking
you
content.
what are you paying Philippines right now? US dollars.
Um, Anywhere like 3 to 6 ish, I
Okay.
think.
Okay. Technical skills, it goes up. Kind of social media stuff follows the same,
Yeah,
more like the three.
the um, it all seems. I mean, for a lot of folks, it like even if they start out asking for a higher number, I'll usually always start people out on like a trial basis at a lower amount, um, just to see if it's a good
How
fit.
big is your VA team now?
Um, so like client success, fulfillment side of things, including like content, I want to say still pretty lean, maybe 8 or 10
Oh,
folks.
and that's just
um
VA. That's full on VA. You're not doing anything stateside in person.
Still full on VA. I have a couple client success that are native English speakers. They actually are not stateside, but US
Yeah, yeah.
folks
Got it.
that are living abroad. So their like affordability, like lifestyle, is super agreeable. They're like, I only need to make $3,000 a month and to live like a king here.
Yeah, yeah,
You're like, all right, that's great.
yeah.
I'll take
That's
I'll
sold.
take US US citizen on a $36,000
Yeah, yeah.
annual
See,
budget.
whereas me, I would want to I would want to move to a country to take advantage of the
Yeah,
income you receive from the States and the lower cost of living that you live abroad.
right. Yeah, I mean, there's all, you know, like you're touching on earlier, it's that, recruiting funnel. How are we recruiting our front end and our back end?
Yeah.
So,
Well, let's talk about that next week. I'm going to make a note. Let's talk about the VA process. Um, I think that would be helpful for a lot of people,
yeah,
and more of the funnel. I'll kind of share my funnel, and you're still in it. I don't have any current VAs on staff right now, although just by talking to you, knowing what I've been doing, and going on this trip. Now I'm not traveling for the rest of the year, so I have a lot of time to actually start building out some systems. But I think that bringing back on a VA as a social media as a content manager, I should say, not a social media, not just carve it into that, but a content manager using the Go High Level content
yeah,
manager. I think I'll probably end up doing that. So, all right, man. Well, as always, good to talk
beautiful.
to you. Look, it's Thanksgiving next week. Are we going to do this Friday, or do you want to push
Um,
on to the following?
your call. Let me know. I think I should be flexible for that day. So
Let's push. Let's push.
okay.
I fly back home on Thanksgiving. I pick wife and kids up from the airport from Vancouver on Friday. I don't know what time. Actually, that'll work out for me though. So let me find out what time they're coming in, and if it's later, I'm going to be at home anyways. So I'd love to hammer out that VA thing.
Beautiful.
All
Sounds
right,
good. Either way, my man.
all right, brother. Have a good one.
Let's get it.
Bye.